It's been more than 2 months since I have been using this Redmi Note 10. Do I still recommend buying this phone for 12,000 rupees? Welcome to Pradeep's Point of View. If this is your first time to the channel, kindly subscribe as I am planning to upload a series of videos made out of my Redmi Note 10. This will not be an actual review, but it will be more like a report in which I will be explaining the pros and cons after using for more than 2 months. If you are planning to buy this phone, please don't skip the video and watch it until the end. The unboxing experience was pretty much straightforward. We have been provided with the 33-watt fast charger, SIM ejection tool. Even a transparent case is included. Let's start with the design. I got the phone in the unique aqua green color and in the much demand 4GB 64GB base variant. It's a pretty much plastic back as you already know, and I see a lot of YouTubers criticizing or praising the idea of Redmi giving plastic backs. I seriously don't know why, because according to a report, more than 80% of Redmi users use their phone with cases anyway. Talking about the case, the included case is very durable and fits perfectly. After all, it is from the manufacturer itself. So, plastic back was perfectly fine for me. Similar things go to the plastic rails around the phone. After all, it's a budget phone and one need not worry about these things. Next comes the display. This is the place where the major update happened after Redmi Note 9, apart from the upgraded processor. I'll talk about that later. The display is a 6.43-inch Full HD 1080 by 2400 AMOLED screen. It's not like those budget AMOLED panels, but some serious work has got into it. It is said in the MI website that it is DCI-P3 calibrated, but I don't agree to that. Out of the box, the display looks much similar to its predecessor, with the exception of some deeper blacks, which is the specialty of AMOLED. Once you dig up further, you find the real power of the display. By changing to saturated, the true power of the Super AMOLED panel come into play. Did I say Super AMOLED? Yes, I did. Samsung was the one designed and coined the word Super AMOLED. But now it's being used by Xiaomi for Redmi Note 10. Even though Samsung offers only LCD for its phones in the same price bracket. The screen is mind-blowing for watching videos. Bundled with the Full HD Plus, the texts are more crispy than any Redmi Note before. I have watched a lot of YouTube videos and played a lot of games in this device. Those things really push the boundary of Super AMOLED. You know, kids always watch vibrant content online. Well, it's my 2-year-old son who tested the panel himself. So trust me on this, guys. You won't believe I prefer this display over my OnePlus 6T, which I got a couple of years back. So what's the downside of this display? AMOLED are very efficient and it pulls very less battery power, right? That's the major win for LED over LCD. If that's the case, always on display can easily be provided for this phone. But unfortunately, it has not been given, but advertised. Even there is a menu called always on display, but it's only for 10 seconds. Of course, there is a workaround. Next would be the refresh rate. It's not 90 or 120, it is just 60. If you really want 120, you can go with the Pro version. As per me, I was good with the 60 and it does the job. The final con will be like nitpicking, but since Realme 8 is offering, I need to tell this one. In-display fingerprint scanner. This can be easily set up in AMOLED screens, but it's not done here. So if you ask me about that provided side mount fingerprint scanner, I have already told you that I have been using this phone for over 2 months now, and the scanner is really consistent at unlocking and scanning your fingerprint. Also, the position of the scanner becomes our natural position for resting our hands, and it becomes too efficient to unlock the phone and requires very less time in doing so. The one thing I noticed would be the area of the scanner itself is very less compared to the back mount, front mount or in display. So, you can register only a certain portion of your fingerprint compared to the comparatively wider portion in the other two. But this is also nitpicking. I just noticed over my long-term usage. I am not really a processor guy and I will be really bothered about the smoothness and longevity of the device. Snapdragon 678 is no slouch either. Coupled with 4GB of onboard RAM and 64GB of fast storage, it's really fast, at least when out of the box. But when I started to dump the phone with apps, it showed mild stutters here and there. Even though it was manageable, it was noticeable. I made some tweaks here and there to get rid of the ad situation, and while making so, it not only gave me an ad-free experience but also fastened the device, after which I never found any major stutter. And yes, even though this version of MIUI has been toned down, it collects our information and gives recommendation, so-called ads, here and there, and it could be easily got rid of by just following a couple of instructions. Let me know in the comments if you want those instructions so that I can upload a separate video for that. This video is already becoming very lengthy. I am an occasional gamer, and note that this device is not for gamers. It's only for casual users. Doesn't mean that you cannot play. You can play most of the titles, even some AAA titles, but only for a maximum of 15 minutes, after which the CPU will be downclocked and you will feel warmth here. Really, it's not bearable. The phone runs MIUI 12 on top of Android 11. It's highly customizable. I am a fan of stock Android, and that's the reason I went with OnePlus phones previously. But MIUI is getting better and it's offering ton of features. For those who use them, they'll definitely be happy with this version. For those who don't like it, you can always download launchers from the Play Store. I have mentioned a couple of launchers in the description below. It changes your screen nearly as stock Android. After all, we are Android users and not iPhone users to stick with what the company gives. But beware, installing a new launcher might bring down the performance a bit. Alright, moving on to battery. It has a whopping 5000 mAh battery, got me through a day, mostly for high use. I use social networking apps, occasional gaming and camera. On days when light usage, it gave me more than a day's charge. And if the phone runs out of battery, you can always plug in for a couple of minutes and you are back on track. Thanks for the provided 33 watt fast charger. People have asked me a lot, does fast charging deteriorates your battery faster than usual? If you fear about that, there is always a 10 watt charger available in MI website. You can go ahead and buy that. I personally suggest to enjoy the fast charging. Even though it damages the battery, it would be 1 or 2% in the course of a year. We have a quad camera array, but soon after a day's use, I found that it's just for design purpose and also to stay with the competition. We don't have a telephoto lens. Then what about the quad cameras? If you ask me, it's a 48 megapixel main camera and a 12 megapixel ultra wide with 117 degree field of view. Other two, it's 100% waste. One is a depth sensor, as if only because of the sensor you are achieving the bokeh effect. And finally, a useless 2 megapixel macro camera. Even if you zoom in and shoot in the main camera, it gives better results than a macro camera. I beg to these companies, which gives an array of cameras for looks alone, instead of spending on this all useless cameras, please provide a single camera with a good sensor. You will really go up in sales and competition. People nowadays don't go with the looks and they want the bang for their bucks. Alright, enough of scolding the cameras. It's actually good in good lighting and outdoors. It's powered by a Sony sensor. Yes, Samsung for display and Sony for camera. Nice move, Xiaomi. Photos are really good and even can be compared with flagships for photos taken in very good lighting. See the results for yourself. Before that, please set the video resolution of this YouTube video in 1080p if not set already. There is some color deviation here and there in harsh scenarios, and auto HDR doesn't seem to work always. I'm comparing the photos side by side. One with my 4.5 years old OnePlus 3T, another with the 2.5 years old OnePlus 6T, both of them 3 times the price of Redmi. But you know, right? The price reduces day by day in mobile industry. Seems similar, right? That's the power of lighting. Finally, it's evening time. Now let's get into some variable lighting where it requires HDR. It's time for some ultra wide pics. Is this the one? Judge for yourself. According to me, it does the job. And for the price, it's comparable with the competition as well. Night it is. Night mode helps you if you have some really steady hands. Moving on to video, there is no OIS. But there is EIS, which I think only works in 1080p. 4K is also usable if you use a tripod. Apart from that, you can use 1080 for vlogging. Can you use this for YouTube recording? Yes, you can. It doesn't hunt for focus frequently and it does a good job in a well lit environment. Anyone can edit the colors and saturation in post. What about front camera videos? This is the front camera video sample footage from Redmi Note 10. This is the rear camera wide angle lens. How does it look? Terrible, right? It's good for the price. Can be used for vloggings too. I missed the most important aspect of a phone. Yeah, the call quality and signal reception. Both the call quality and signal reception was really good. I used a BSNL and Airtel SIM in my mobile. Both were receiving signals all the time. The voice was loud and clear. I tested the call quality even on headsets and it sounded really good. Oops, I forgot the speaker. They have said that it is a stereo speaker, but it's not. Anyways, it's firing from both the directions, mostly around 80% from the right and 20% from the left. It sounded good and even better than having a mono speaker. Alright, let's move on to the conclusion. After nearly 2 months of usage, do I still recommend buying this phone for 12,000 rupees? Yes, I do. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace.